One thing I kind of, and I don't know how they would have done it because you kind of see the theme of family throughout the movie. With Joe and his son, and then even the two kaiju's, the two I don't know what they're officially called in
The
this movie. I can't
Mutos?
remember the mutos. You've got the male and the female, and I believe the female's pregnant as well, and is trying to mate, etc. And I was going to ask actually, how does kind of like the family theme tie into the kaiju's in this? I know, like at the most basic sense, it's a man and a woman, and the woman's pregnant, etc. But how do you kind of see the story kind of like elevated by having that same theme of family within the kaiju's as well? And what's the movie trying to say? Basically, it's like, am I missing something where it's relating also family to the kaiju's?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like, it's an obvious parallel, right? Joe like goes to great lengths to protect and save his family, right? And he fails. Similarly, the male Muto does the same thing, right? He also tries to protect the female, and he is kind of like his mission is to get the eggs to hatch, right? And he plays a role in that, and and so does the female, right? When she builds the nest and guards the eggs and so on, right? If there's anything there at all, I think it's more about this is just a universal of life, and these mutos are not simply monsters; they're living beings, and we are just in their way. That's how I would look at that.
Also, I don't think that was supposed to be the main focus. Definitely was one of them, but I think obviously the
It's
main.
definitely there, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the mutos
definitely.
are not really doing anything evil. They're trying to reproduce, and they're feeding.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, which is not evil. It's just we happen to be in its way, and we happen to be its food. They're not simply destroying stuff just because, right? They're not really rampaging through a city just because they can. They are seeking out like food and a safe place and so on. And the third leg of that is Brody, right? Like their family, that like they are a family. They have a child. They're trying to survive. They both have professions that ultimately are about serving others, right? He's a soldier. She's a nurse. Like these are all like social professions, right? Like with a social function. This is definitely in the DNA of the movie. I'm just not sure it gets to a point where it says very much other than life happens and people will try to, do what they need to live and to survive. And the military is kind of the same way. We spend a lot of time on the aircraft carrier and with the admiral and with the different soldiers and what they make their plans. And that's basically just like kind of doing the same thing, right? Like they are attacking the threat in order to protect the thing that they care about, right? It's like on a very basic and high level, it's the same thing. And so everybody in this movie, like, and the monarch people are the only exception because they are just there to study the kaiju, and there's nothing like that. They don't really do anything else, and they're just really just there to drop some exposition, but that's about it. And so they are the only ones who don't fit this template, I don't think. It doesn't really make a big point. It doesn't really have a big statement about life. It's more like, this is what existence is, right? Like on a very primal level, this is what being alive boils down to. And the
I
kaiju are
think as
kind of
well.
like doing the same thing we are, just on a bigger scale, and there's no negotiating with them.
And I think as well, what kind of ties into that and supports it as well is that there isn't really a villain in this movie at all. Like you said, everything in this movie is the natural order.